Hello there and welcome to another tier list video on this channel. The last time we did this we were doing a tier list of characters for the Persona 4 Golden game, and this time I've decided I would do the same for the Persona 5 characters. Now this list will include characters from Persona 5, Royale and Strikers. Obviously spoilers for all three of those games will likely be involved. This list also has Persona Q2 characters on it, but I have not played that game so I won't be ranking them. In fact, let me make a nice extra row here for characters I don't know. But outside of that, I think let's get on with starting our ranking. I also have up here my Persona 4 list, which I can use for comparison if I need to, because I'll try and keep it somewhat consistent. Looking back on this list, I think it's mostly correct. However, I would probably move Yukiko down to A rather than, well, it should be S-, don't know why it isn't, but I would probably move her down to higher A in hindsight. But that's the only change I would really make. Anyway, back to the list we're going to be making. So first up we have Akane, and I must admit it's been a little while since I played Strikers. My memory of her is not as good as it could be, but I do remember liking the character. So let me have a look. Where roughly would I be placing her? I'm thinking probably C+ category for now. I like her, but I don't feel strongly either way about her. She's fine. I might move her up later. I don't think she'd move down. C- is kind of where the characters I just don't care about go. So she's higher than that. Alright, this guy, whose name I do not remember for the life of me. He was the leader of the tech company in Strikers, I believe. I'll look up his name now, give me one sec. Okay, found his name. I believe it is Akira Konoe, this guy here, yeah. So, from my understanding, this character is basically like a person who wants to do good but is very misguided in doing so. Honestly, I don't dislike the guy, but I can't say I like him either. He can go here for now. We'll see where that ends up leading though. I just don't feel especially strongly he could be there, but I think he's C- for now. Okay, Alice, I believe is her name. This is a tough one, because she is kind of just evil, but I mean, it's not like she's doesn't have a reason, it's just not a good excuse. She probably goes here. Again, I don't feel especially strongly either way. Then we've got this guy who was the writer, who again, a name I have forgotten. Hold on a sec. I remember this guy was basically a really not great person, but I cannot find his name. Doesn't matter, doesn't change my opinion. Realistically, he's here. He was the one who basically stole a bunch of, like, what's the word? Good literature and put it into his to try and sell his things better, and then they weren't selling better, so then he used brainwashing to make them sell better. So yeah, I mean, every one of these three are villains, but he felt like he was doing more bad in terms of brainwashing in some ways. I don't know, because it was affecting like the market, things like that, and like he wasn't especially likable either, whereas these two had some kind of likable characteristics to them, even if it was minor. I didn't really get that with this guy. Okay, Arn. Where's Arn going? Honestly, I am not the biggest Arn fan, and I know that's probably controversial in general. She's fine. She has some things that I like. I like her kind of straightforward, positive approach to things, but she also annoys me a lot in lots of cases. And she's also just not really my kind of person. Realistically, she's probably here. I like her more than a character I don't care about, like these two, but not by a lot. Caroline, okay. Let's do all the Velvet attendants, why don't we, while we're here. So, we'll start with Caroline, because she was first anyway. Caroline I do like. I find her funny. She's a fun character to watch unfold on screen, but she's not like a favourite of mine. I'm thinking I'd probably put her in B-, maybe B+. She's around that area. I'll put her here for now, but she might move down. She's riding that line for me. Justine I like less. I like her dry sense of humour she sometimes has, but just her personality in general appeals to me less. I think just because Caroline is funny a lot, I end up remembering her more and therefore caring about her more, whereas Justine, I would say, is less so. I'd probably put her below Akane and above Arn. Does that seem about right? Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Okay. So, Lavenza. I think Lavenza is in one of these two. I think I like her less than Caroline overall. This seems to happen sometimes. I'm about to spoil Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so if you care about that, then please probably skip forward about a minute. So, in Xenoblade 2, there is Pyra and Mythra, who can fuse together to make a third character, Numa, right? And in general, I ended up liking Numa less than Mythra, because I like Mythra more than Pyra, but Numa felt too much like Pyra and not enough like Mythra. And this is exactly how I feel about Lavenza. I feel like she is more Justine than she is Caroline, and I like Caroline more, so I end up liking Lavenza less. Now, I just need to see if this is right in terms of who I've got in what tier. Is Lavenza a B-? I would say so. I could move her up later, and I might, but for now, that's how it's going. Okay, Chihaya. I really don't care much about Chihaya, honestly. Like, she could not be in the game, and I wouldn't care. She's nice, sure. Her accent also annoyed me a bit. Kind of cancels that out, so she's kind of neutral to me. I'll put her here for now. As I said, really nothing of importance to me. I have no idea who that is, I'm just going to put him there for now. Okay, then we've got Kasumi's instructor, whose name I do not know. I mean, we didn't see that much of her on screen. She seemed nice from what we did see. I mean, she's probably just top of C-, because I don't especially care about her character, but she was good in the time she was on the screen, which was really not many. She could be, like, in this... She can't be a C+. She's top of C-. Obviously it could change, but... I'm not ranking Shadows, don't really know why that's there, but anyway. And I don't need two different Akechis, I'm just going to use this one. Let's talk about Futaba. Futaba for a long time was probably my favourite fictional character. Definitely not so much anymore, she's dropped down a fair bit, but I'd say she probably still falls into the S- category, and this is why I don't think Yukiko is here. Because I do not like Yukiko as much as I like Futaba, but Futaba is not in this category for me, I don't think. So yeah, I would have Yukiko down, and Futaba would be the only S- character I've ever ranked so far in Persona games. Okay, and then we get on to Akechi. How do you rank Akechi? Right, I like Akechi a lot. I'm not saying he isn't a bad person, but this list is purely how much I like the character, and the answer is a lot. especially once you see him in like the third semester with his like act dropped, things like that. It's just nice to see, because you're seeing who he really is. And there were lots of strong moments for his character where it made you respect him, like when he wanted to go through with destroying Maruki's reality, even though it would basically be the end of him. I mean, I know obviously we don't know for sure exactly what happened, but from his perspective, refusing Maruki's deal and stealing his heart would kill him. And he was fine with that, and I thought that was a powerful moment, because he would rather die in reality than live in a fake one, which I respect that a lot. And he's just such an interesting character to delve into in general, because he is kind of becoming a better person over the course of the game. Like, at the beginning, obviously, when you meet him, he basically does whatever he wants, and that carries on up until Sai's Palace. And then you can kind of feel like, throughout like the rank 8 rank up and around that area, that slight things start changing, and he starts like almost respecting Joker a lot more, and like you can see that he kind of wants to change in a way, but he feels like he can't. I don't know. I'm not going to spend hours on end talking about Akechi, because I could, and I don't think anyone wants that. Okay, let's talk about Haru then. I'd say Haru is probably A. I like Haru. She's nice, she's funny, she's sweet, but I can't put her on the same level as Futaba and Akechi. Futaba is just very endearing, and I don't have the same like to Haru that I do to those other two. I don't really have that much more to say. I feel like Haru has the obvious issue of just not having enough screen time, which is just byproduct of her being one of the last characters, but even with like the extra stuff, she still felt like she was underutilized a lot. And yeah, don't have much more to say. We'll move on. Hifumi. I think Hifumi is probably here. Hifumi is similar to Makoto in a lot of ways. I know we haven't got to Makoto yet, but I like Makoto a lot. And I like Hifumi for similar reasons. She's like intelligent and like a very determined person. And you kind of have like a connection with her throughout the game, but it doesn't feel like you get as close to her as you do some of the other characters. Even like if you do go down like the romance option, I still feel like you're not as close to her as to some other characters. It still feels a bit more distant, and maybe that's why it feels like I can't rank her much higher, because I don't know her as well. I think not being a party member also makes it harder, because she's the only non-party member that high currently. But yeah, I found like the whole like situation with her and how she was dealing with it endearing, and it like her social links one of the ones I remember better. Like all four of these characters in the higher tier had quite memorable social links for me, whereas lots of the lower down ones like Arn I didn't care much about. Like I cared about the Shiho bits, but then that kind of felt like Shiho should have been a social link once she got better, and those bits should have been in Shiho's social links, so I'm not going down that discussion path, but I feel like these four, I can remember all their social links quite well, whereas for some of the others I definitely can't. Oh geez, here we go. We're on to Oya. She is probably my least favourite non-evil character in Persona 5 in general. She's just annoying. I don't really have much more to say. She's just... I get she does a lot to help out the Phantom Thieves. Like with the whole finding the person who... like the witness for Joker's assault. Hold on. Yeah, she found like the whole witness for Joker's assault and things like that. But... I just... like, she did good things, but it just wasn't... what's the word I'm looking for? Her doing those things doesn't make me like her character. It's just... they're just things that she did to help us out, and she did them out of the goodness of her heart, and she was a kind person for doing those. But that doesn't make me like her. That's something very important. Also, I don't know what I'm clicking on. Me trying to multitask is a bad idea. I'm trying to get to my music folder. Anyway, back to this. She's probably here. And I know it seems weird to rank her lower than actual villains, but I feel like these two actually had endearing parts of their character, and I really can't think of many for Oya. Moving on. Madarame. I think he probably goes here. Like, I dislike him obviously for obvious reasons, but he still had some goodness in him. He wasn't like completely far gone, even though he had very distorted desires. I didn't find myself hating Madarame. Obviously the shadows are like exaggerated versions, and the shadows normally make you dislike their characters more, but I don't think Madarame as a person was as bad as some of the others were. So he doesn't go like down here, but I could put him there actually. Yeah, I think he's above this guy, but that could go either way. Igor. Honestly, I don't have a clue how you rank Igor, so I am very indifferent. I'm just going to put him in the middle of C-. Above the villains, below the non-villains, seems about right. Okay, Jose. I mean, again, I don't really have especially strong feelings about Jose. Like, he was nice enough, but we didn't really find out what he was or why or anything. He was just this guy we gave flowers to. I guess he goes there. I really don't feel strongly. Now, okay. Okay, so from my understanding, this is the Owada guy who basically killed Zenkichi's wife in a hit-and-run incident and then framed his secretary or something like that with the murder, and then basically shut down any attempt for Zenkichi to investigate it further via like manipulating the police force. And he also had a hand in all of the like Emma weird stuff as well, and yeah, I mean, I think he kind of realistically goes here just for all of the terrible stuff that he's done, but I mean, he's a politician, which already isn't a great start, but yeah, I would say he's probably here. I mean, I don't feel that strongly in disliking him, I guess. I could put him there. Yeah, he goes there. Kaneshiro, okay. Now, I kind of do dislike this guy. I'm tempted to put him here. It's just his attitude makes you frustrated with him. I mean, he's either at the bottom of D or the like top of E. There's not much in it. I'll put him here for now, but I might move him around later. Don't know who that is. I am not ranking Yauda both separately. Actually, I guess I could. Sure, why not? Okay, Kamoshida. I think he has to go here, right? Like, he is such a good first villain, because the game just makes you really, really want to take him down. And yeah, I mean, he fills that role pretty perfectly, I can't say much about it. Honestly, yeah, there he is. Okay, then we have, oh god, Kasumi. It still hasn't quite settled in my brain to call this one Kasumi and this one Sumire. Still hasn't set in my mind. But yeah, it's Kasumi. And we did not really see enough of her for me to be able to comment. But what I have seen of her, she seemed very happy and nice, and that's kind of how Kasumi was acting, sorry, how Sumire was acting on like a general basis, was kind of like replicating how her sister acted, and that seemed to be consistent with like the flashbacks and stuff we saw. So I mean, I like Kasumi, yeah, but I can't put her that high purely because we really don't know her. I'm tempted to put her here, honestly, because I think that if she were just an actual character, I would really like her. But I can't put her that high for obvious reasons. Yeah, she can go there for now. I'm not ranking Sumire twice, so I'll rank this Sumire. How about that? Now, she is somewhere up here, but I'm not sure where. I'm thinking one of these two places right now. We'll go there for now. I might move her. No, never mind, I am moving her. She's there. I mean, they did a very, very good job of integrating this character into Royale, and even though there were points that kind of felt like she should really be joining up with us at this point, like the Shido Palace, when we were going, oh, it's too dangerous to bring her along, but it's not too dangerous to bring everyone else. Okay, it ran over on that front. But they did a very good job of integrating her and making you like her as a character. Her story with the whole brainwashing and things like that was very interesting. I remember her social link well. I remember a lot of interactions with her very well. And yeah, obviously all the stuff in Maruki's palace and stuff like that was a very impactful, and I remember almost all of that. Like, her character as a whole had a big impact on me. Seeing, like rejection of who you are, basically. I thought it was a really interesting concept. And she's just, like, such a kind person in general. And even though she has, like, obviously obvious mental health problems that resulted from her sister's accident, she doesn't, like, take it out on anyone else or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like her a lot. That's all I've got to say. I've got Mr. Principal here. Don't feel really strongly about him. He can go here. He didn't have anything endearing. He didn't have anything that made me hate him. He's just, Alright, Okamura. I'm thinking there? No, is he worse than Kaneshiro and the hit and run guy? No, no, he's here. Because even though he was trying to basically sell off his daughter and had bad sanitation and things like that, he wasn't actually, like, committing horrific crimes like Kaneshiro and Kamoshido were. Like, they were still bad, but it wasn't as bad. And he seems like a tad bit more of a less bad person in general, I'd say. But again, we're talking minor differences here. They're all pretty evil people. Then we've got Kuon. Or I should just call her Ichinose, because I don't know if I'm pronouncing her first name right. Where does she go? She was a very interesting character, and I relate to her in some ways. I relate to her thinking that she doesn't really have feelings and stuff like a normal person, because I went through a phase in my life where I kind of felt like that. Even though I know I did, I thought I was just, like, kind of emotionally dulled. It wasn't quite as extreme, but I kind of relate in a way. I'm thinking maybe there. Yeah, I'll leave her there for now. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be upsetting a lot of people with this placement, but that's how I feel. Then we have who I believe is my favourite Persona 5 character, Makoto. I said a bit about this when I was talking about Hifumi, but I like her determined, take things into your own hands and sort them out kind of personality. In general, I have a preference to more intelligent characters, I would say. I mean, you can probably tell that based on the list, given that at least 4 of the characters in, like, this top lot, I'd say, are fairly intelligent. But yeah, she is just, like, a pretty amazingly done character to me. I thought her development throughout the game, from when you meet her through to, like, her persona awakening and stuff, was very well done. And how she kind of took on, like, a somewhat leadership role in the team, even though she has, like, that. So she lacks confidence in herself in a lot of ways. She manages to work through that. again, this is another character I could rant about for a long time. One thing I didn't like was that her social link seemed to focus almost more on Eiko than on her, in a similar way to Arn's social link focusing on Shihab a lot. But I feel like I still got to know Makoto better throughout her social link than I did with Arn's, so it didn't affect me as much, plus the fact that I just like Makoto's character more. But honestly, she had a bit more of a forgettable social link. I still remember lots of bits of it, because it was done well, but not necessarily revolving around her done well in lots of ways. But yeah, she is there. She is the only character who I'd say is like in that Naruto tier, I think. I mean, there might be another one I'm forgetting about, but I think she's the only one up there. I do like Makoto more than Naruto, by the way, but it's not like a massive difference. I mean, you could probably tell the intelligent character thing by this list as well, given the top two are Yukiko and Naruto, but anyway. I do not remember this character's name. I know she was like the person that Haru knew from her childhood, and that she used to be a nice person and then got corrupted, and was basically like a corrupt mayor of a town. I don't feel especially strongly about her. She can go there. Actually, I'll put her below Oya. But yeah, she can go there. Then we have Maruki. And boy is this a confusing one. He's a villain who just wanted to do good for the world, so misguided villain, I suppose. But the thing is, I am a person who's of the opinion that Maruki's reality was wrong, and ever since I first heard about what he was trying to do, I thought it was wrong. Like, my first reaction was, nope, not having that. And that I just thought it was not the way to go about things. But I can understand where people are coming from when they say that his reality is better in some ways. I personally agree with Akechi that you're basically like living in a false reality, and you're basically, what's the word? You're like rejecting reality essentially, which is why I don't like it. Because I think that if you were always happy, you'd be like dulled to happiness. It's like with I don't like comparing happiness to drugs, but it is in a way. It's like when you have too many drugs, suddenly a small amount of drugs don't make you feel as good, so you take more drugs and then you take more drugs. It's like, it must be the same with happiness. It will eventually become a point where happiness just becomes normal, and then suddenly everyone is just average and always, because that's what happiness feels like. It doesn't feel special anymore. And that was my opinion when I heard about it. You have to go through hardships in life to be able to appreciate happiness. Anyways, this has got into a whole debate about whether Maruki's reality is real. I should be talking about whether I like him. And I do. But he's not like a favourite of mine. I'd be tempted to put him in like the B+ kind of category. That seems about right. I'll put him there. I'll put him there for now. This could change, but that's currently my opinion. Okay. Shido. I mean, enough said, I think. I'm not going into any more detail. Then we have Mika. And Mika's one of those characters where you're kind of meant to dislike her, but there's this little thing that kind of makes you like her. I mean, you have to appreciate her determination, and that she's basically willing to do anything in order to make her way up in the world. You have to give her some credit for that. Again, I don't like her especially, but she's alright. She can go there. She had a more of an impact on me throughout the game than Chihaya did. I'll say that much. Who the hell is this? Literally, I could not tell you who this woman was. I think she is a Persona 5 Strikers character, like one of like the police people or something like that, but I literally do not have a clue. So, I guess she can go in the middle of my indifferent tier with Igor, because I literally have no thoughts about her. Okay, I'm not ranking Morgana twice in terms of human and non-human Morgana. Morgana to me is probably there, just above Arn. Like, I agree with people in general that the whole going off on his own arc was a bit stupid, and it made you dislike his character a bit. I understand it more than a lot of people did though. He just kind of felt useless and wanted to try and be useful in his own way, and you can't really fault him for that. He just went about it in the wrong way. So that didn't cause me to dislike the character, but I get where people are coming from when they complain about that arc of his character. In general, he's likable, but again, I just don't feel especially strongly. It is similar to Arn in the way that I don't remember that much about his social link, because his social link was kind of story focused and Arn's was kind of Shiho focused, so I don't remember that much about either of them. And yeah, he was not the most likable character to me in general, but he's alright. He's fine where he is. Then we have Random Teacher Man, who again I have no feelings about, so he can go and join Random Lady I don't know anything about. And I could not tell you who this guy is. Literally, with this lady I had an idea. I think she's a Strikers character, but this guy? I do not have a clue. Honestly. I mean, maybe he's a Q2 character, but he doesn't have the same art style as the Q2 character, so I doubt it. I hope I'm not forgetting like an important character or something, because I feel like I might be. But yeah, I don't know. This is another teacher I don't care about. He's the one who throws chalk at you though, so he can go at the bottom. This was again another teacher I don't care about. Same here. She's more likable though in some ways. Okay, but teacher saga has ended. We're done with that. Then we have this guy, UI. I do like UI. My first instinct is to put him in this category. I mean, he's an endearing character because he initially comes off as very distant and hard and like a person you couldn't really get along with, but obviously as you go through his social link, he's like a sweetheart, like deep down, and he really cares about his adopted son. And the game just kind of makes you like him by the end, and yeah, does a good job. Then we have this guy. I believe this is Nakanohara. Again, I don't feel especially strongly. He was a bad guy who got his heart changed. He was like Madarame's pupil, I believe. I don't really feel strongly about him. He can go around this area, I guess. He can go below the teachers, above these guys. How about that? Then we have Akira. Now, this is the same issue I had with you, which is that his character is hard to rank because his character is kind of what you make it. They do have, like, inbuilt personalities to an extent, but they can't in a game where you have dialogue choices too much, because otherwise it wouldn't feel like a dialogue choice. So I'm kind of ranking him based on my perception of the character, which may be different from other people's perception. And honestly, I would probably put him in a similar place to you. I feel similarly about them. I'll put them both in like that B+ category. Okay, we have Rumi, and again, this is a character we don't really know enough about to properly rank, but she's probably on the higher end of I care about her more than Chihaya, honestly. Yeah, she can go there. I do not feel strongly in this case, though. Okay. Ryuji. Ryuji is in this category with these guys, but above them. He's a character that from the start you like, but I've never felt strongly about him either way. He never did anything to make me dislike him, and he's a nice person, but he does some things which are a little bit annoying, he does some things which are a little bit stupid, and he does some things which are very nice and polite and kind. Kind of evens out a bit, more on the positive. I could put him above Ichinose, yeah, we'll do that for now. We'll come back and reorganise stuff later. Okay, Kawakami. I do not like Kawakami. She is in the whatever it's called. Doctor Ladies category for me. She is down here. Below Ouya, I'd say, probably. No, she's higher, but barely. I liked Kawakami's character whenever she wasn't doing her weird maid thing. The maid thing just ruined it for me. It was so cringy to me. I could literally... every time that thing came on screen, I was in pain and just wishing it would end. I'd honestly had so much of that by the end. I probably wouldn't have even bothered doing her social link if her rewards weren't good. If they were like Ouya's, I literally probably would have skipped it because I couldn't put up with it. I do not like Kawakami as a character in general. Some bits of her character are good. I like the whole, she did that thing for the guy who ended up getting like killed in a car accident or whatever, and that she was like a good tutor to him. That was interesting. I like the whole situation she went through in regards to that, and she felt like she had to do the maid work. But then she, even when she stopped doing the maid work and doesn't feel like she has to, she still carries on doing the annoying maid thing. And yeah, that drove me insane. I don't hate her character. I just don't like her character. That I want to make that clear. On to Sai. Let's get off of Kawakami for a minute. I'm fairly indifferent to Sai. She probably goes like here, top of C- category. She's like the highest of the characters I just don't care about. Like she's like Makoto in the way that she's like a very determined, like intelligent character, but we don't really get to know her well throughout the course of the game. She doesn't quite intrigue me in the same way Makoto does, because she doesn't seem to have quite the same issues, and like you can't relate to her as much. She's like in a very high position in regards to the player characters for a lot of the game. Yeah, don't have much more to say. Now, I want to know who this guy is, because I feel like I really should know who this guy is, and I don't. No, I do, I remembered. He was Maruki's friend. He was the nice guy who came and saw us in the buffet. Again, I don't feel strongly about him. He can go there, why not? He seemed nice, that's all I've got to say. Now, every time Shiho was on screen, outside of her being Shadow Shiho, obviously, I liked what was happening. I really, really wish she was a social link in Royale. I think that was a very missed opportunity. I think that later on she should have become one. And I think if she had become a social link and we got to know her better, we could be talking this kind of range for her character. But we just don't know her well enough. I mean, I think that she's probably around where Kasumi is for similar reasons. They seem like characters I really could have liked, but I just didn't know them well enough to like them enough. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Here we have Kasumi's dad, and Sumare's dad, I guess. I like him. For what we saw, he was nice. I don't have much more to say. Again, he kind of goes in like the upper side of I don't care category. Shinya? He's another character who has things I like, things I don't. I'm fairly indifferent. He's probably in this category again. I'd say probably above. No. Jose didn't do anything to annoy me, and Shinya did a bit with the whole bullying arc. He went through things like that. Yeah, I'll put him there. He is an interesting character, but I really don't remember much about his social link. The main thing I remember about his social link is him teaching us the down shot to take down the cheater in Mementos. That is the main thing I remember. And the second thing I remember is him bullying kids out of money. And those are not the best things about his character, so honestly I feel like his social link probably was a bit underdeveloped. And yeah, I didn't really care that much for his character. SIU director, I mean, I don't care about him, but you kind of have to dislike him a bit because he was also helping to orchestrate murders and stuff. It's probably there. Maybe there. Actually, never mind, he's lower. These characters had something endearing about them. Him I don't remember well enough to comment, but I know he did some bad things. This guy didn't really have anything endearing, and neither did these ones. So yeah, that's why they're lower. Okay, on to Sojiro. Where do I want to place Sojiro? Does he stop there? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. He is not really my kind of character. I appreciate he's nice, and I can see why a lot of people would like him. Especially because of like the development he goes through to eventually like trusting you and seeing you like family by the end. It's very like heartwarming. I do like him, but he really didn't interest me much throughout the course of the game. It was just like, hey, here's this guy who's going through development. He didn't feel central enough, and I also don't remember basically anything about his social link. It was really not memorable to me. And basically every high-up character here had a memorable social link. Even if in Makoto's case it wasn't that much about her, it was still memorable. Yeah, that's what I've got to say. Now, I do like Sophia a lot. I don't quite know where to place her, but I think the idea of like an AI gaining like a will of her own, like a persona and things, is such a cool concept. And the fact she was kind of like the basis for Emma made it very cool as well. I'm honestly tempted to put her here. Yeah, honestly, I think she's in A. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that in terms of the 4 list as well. Honestly, really, really interesting character. Liked her a lot. She went through like a lot of development from like almost seeming very AI-like when we first discovered her to seeing so much more human by the end. And she's just like such like a sweet like character in general. I don't quite know how they managed to make like an AI seem so like kind and cute basically, but they succeeded. And yeah, ended up liking her a lot. Oh god, with a special place in hell for this guy. He's not that bad, but he's in the no redeeming qualities that I've seen category. He's below this guy. No, he's not below that guy. He's here. As far as we're aware, he hasn't really committed any crimes, so to speak. But he's kind of not great. And he has no redeeming qualities. Actually, I'll put him above the SIU director, but he's still in like the nothing good category. Now we've got Tai. I feel like I used to like Tai more than I do now. Again, there are bits of her character that I really like, but then she sometimes does things which seem a bit out of character for her. I feel like her character isn't always consistent, but not like in a development way. Something sometimes feels off about her. I do still like her, and I'd be tempted to put her in like the B-, like just below these two category, but yeah, I wouldn't say much higher than that. Then we've got Shop Guy. He can go at the top of characters I'm indifferent about because I like the music. Sure, I like Yoshida. He goes through a lot of development throughout his social link, and you kind of guide him through it, which I like. And you're kind of helping each other out. It's like a very mutual relationship, even though he should feel like a mentor, which I find is interesting. And he always seems to, like, he knows what his ideals are, but he gets demoralized away from them, and you're kind of there as a support to him. His social link wasn't especially memorable to me, but I remember his character well. much more than I remember his social link. So even if the social link didn't do a great job of making me remember the specifics of it, it made me remember about who he is as a person. So it still succeeded in a way. Then we've got Wakaba. And this is one where we don't really have enough information to properly rank her. But we can ballpark here. She should probably be above Shinya. I have to say I wasn't the biggest fan of her English voice actor. Like when she was in like the 3rd semester and we saw her, I wasn't the biggest fan of her voice actor, but her character is fine. She's around like the Sai Jose, they're good, but I don't know them well enough to comment really. Category. Yaldabaoth, I guess he has to kind of go. I don't know how to rank Yaldabaoth, honestly. Because you dislike him because he's kind of trying to change the world how he wants and do weird things and stuff, but he hasn't directly like killed with people and things like that. He split the twins apart, sealed Igor away, was trying to kill us. I guess he's probably here. I don't really dislike him, but you can't really say you like him either. And he did some not great things, so yeah. He can sit there. Now Mishima. Honestly, I don't dislike him as much as I did before. I think the whole him changing his own heart thing was very interesting and I did like that. I'd be tempted to put him just above Arn. I don't like him as much as Morgana though. Again, he had a somewhat forgettable social link, but I remember some bits of it well. Like, I remember the bullying incident well. I remember the whole change of heart bit well. It was... The bits I remember were good, but I don't remember all of it. A lot of the time he was just annoying, but by the end he'd become a much better character, and you can't really, like, refute that. He had just become so much of a better person. But I can't say that I especially like him. He's just fine. Okay. Yusuke. I'm thinking he's just below Ryuji for me. He's a bit too eccentric for my liking. Like, I do like eccentric people in general, but it's a little too far in his case to a point where it feels absurd to an extent. And nothing about his character really drew me in. He's not really my kind of character. There's like a specific kind of person this kind of character appeals to, and I think one of my friends would really like this character. But yeah, don't feel especially strongly myself. Like, he's fine, I like him, but that's it. Then we have Zenkichi, who I do like. He kind of goes with the other, like, adult male characters who I ended up liking in this category. He's probably above Yoshida, below Iwai. I mean, it helped he's a party member, so you get to know him better. And honestly, I don't remember that much about his character. I know that I like him and that he's funny and that he's like an endearing person, but I couldn't tell you that much about him as a person, which is why he's not any higher. But I did like the arc he went through in terms of like going from thinking he couldn't really do anything and kind of giving up on his wife's case to an extent, even though he didn't want to like try confronting the situation directly, which was nice. But yeah, he didn't feel as central to the plot as someone like Sophia did. She stuck out a lot more to me in Strikers. Okay, so this is the first cursory look of the list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a break. Obviously it won't be a break for you, but I'm going to step away from recording for a sec, have a break. Then I'll come back and have another look and we'll do some reordering. Okay, I had a nice tea break. Now I think it's time we review, comparing tier by tier to the full tier list and make sure everything still checks out. So, the S pluses are absolutely fine. The S's, obviously I said before, Yukiko would be moved down, but otherwise that's correct. Marie is in A. These three are in A. Honestly, I'm tempted to do that. I'm not sure if I want to or not, but it's very tempting. You know what I am? I'm going to put Sophia higher. But yeah, that's fine. B plus Nanako, you. Yeah, seems right to me. This is the bit I'm a bit unsure of. The B plus B minus category, I might still move some stuff around him. Let's make sure everything in general's fine though. So we got like Dojima, Kanji, Risei. Yeah, seems about right. Got like Adachi, Margaret, Yu. Sorry, not Yu, Yosuke, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that seems right. C has people like Yumi, Moroka. Yeah. Then D, yeah. Okay. Everything is right between the two tier lists. I'm just not sure how I feel about all of these characters being in the order that they're in, the ones in this tier. Let's go through one more time, I think. I think Lavenza might need to be higher. Maybe there, actually. I think a Y above Zenkichi is right. These ones are in the right order, but I'm not sure they're in the right tier necessarily. Let me put them all in the same tier for a minute. So Lavenza's there. Akira is there. Maruki I feel like might be a bit lower actually. I feel like I might like a Y more. And Caroline, I feel like I might put there. But then Joker doesn't feel like he's in the right place either. He feels like he should be there. Okay, but let's go under this assumption and let's put Caroline, Lavenza. A Y doesn't feel like he belongs up there though. Hold on, who's in B plus here? No, I think Akira has to be there. Okay, this feels better. Yeah, I'm happy with this, I think. Because I initially thought I liked Y more than Akira, but I think the whole... I'm just putting Akira where I put you because, again, it's hard to rank him, and he feels right there. So I think this is my list. It's obviously a little bit bigger than the other one because we have our who the hell are these people / I'm not ranking them because they already have a person on the list already list. The one thing I'm really confused about is why Shadow Futaba is here, but no other Shadow people, but anyway. I think this is my list, so yeah, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what your favourite Persona 5 character is, or you can even link me to your creation of this tier list if you want to. Yeah, and I hope you'll join me next time, so thank you and goodbye.